Okay, so I want to show you how to do time value of money with the BAII Plus calculator. So let's get started. There are four basic time value money calculations that you might need. There's the present value of a single sum, the future value of a single sum, the present value of an annuity, and the future value of an annuity. So present value of a single sum means you have one sum, one amount, occurring here, say at time 0. And some years will pass by or whatever, and say this is year 10, the present value would be how much it's worth right now. The future value would be how much it's going to be worth in year 10. So that's just present value and future value of a single sum. For an annuity, you can have a present value as well, but instead of the cash flow that, let's say I deposit 100 here, and I want to know the future value for one of these, instead of that happening, I would have periodic payments. I would have an even amount that I'm depositing at the same interval every year, every month, or whatever, for a period of time. So that's an annuity. And I can either have present value or future value of an annuity. It's present value, I want to know how much it's worth now. If it's future value, I want to know how much it's worth at the end of the time. Of course, if this is 10 years, we don't know anything from that. So let's just call it 5. So present value, this is the value of the account or car or house or whatever you're looking at right now. The calculator button looks like this. Future value is the value of the account or car or house at some point in the future. You have to know when that is, so it can't just be infinite, but say 10 years or 5 years or whatever. Interest rate is the rate of growth. This is the interest rate you'll get over each time period. It's defined by the number of time periods. The calculator button looks like this. Okay. The number of time period usually means number of years that corresponds with the time period during which you will earn the rate you specified above. So if it's 1% per month, then the number of time periods is the number of months, and the rate is 1. If it's 12% per year, then the number of time periods is the number of years, and the interest rate is 12. So we'll talk about that in the other video that I did on monthly payments that you can differentiate there. And then the payment is the identical payment, it's an annuity, that occurs at regular intervals. In a single sum problem, this is 0. The calculator button looks like that. So let's get started. Here's an example of the present value of a single sum. You want to have $10,000 for a down payment for a house in 5 years. What amount would you need to deposit today? Assuming that your money will earn 4%. And let's do that so I can get the calculator to show you. Okay, so you want to have $10,000. So what I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is clear everything in the time value money register. So everything that's in the time value of money things, I'm going to clear. So I'm going to push second, clear time value of money. See where it says at the top, clear time value of money, that's what I'm doing. So second, clear time value of money clears that. This one, second, clear work, clears other stuff. And if you just want to clear the calculator in general, you just push the C button without pushing second. Alright, so I'm going to put in $10,000. Now every time value money problem has 5 components. One is the present value, one is the future value, one is the number of periods, one is the interest rate, and one is the payment. In this case, it's a single sum, so there is no payment. So I'm not going to enter anything, or I can put 0 for payment. In this case, the future value is 10,000, so I'm going to put future value 10,000. The interest rate is 4%. I can't write on that now, so I can't show you, but interest rate is 4%, so I'm going to put 4, and I'm not going to put 4% or 0.04, I'm going to put 4. That's the way the calculator expects it. So interest per year is 4. I'm going to save up for 5 years, so N is 5. and I'm calculating, let's see, let me go ahead and show you, put 0 for payment. I don't really have to do that. And so I'm going to calculate the present value of that. So I'll hit compute, present value. Oops. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Do that again, 10,000. Future value. I can't really see these very well because they're small. 0 is payment. 4 is I. 5 is N. Compute present value. And the present value is $8,219.27. And you could check to see if this was right by saying, okay, if I deposit that much in the first, right now, times 0, then what will happen at time 1, or how much will it be worth at time 1? So I'm going to multiply that by 1.04. That's how much it's worth at time 1. At time 2, it's worth, multiply it again by 1.04, it's worth that much. At time 3, it's worth that much. At time 4, it's worth that much. And at time 5, it'll be worth $10,000. Now, there's a negative sign in front of this. You can either enter the either the present value has to be negative or the future value has to be negative. So if you enter the future value as a negative, then the present value will come up positive. That's just the way the calculator works. Okay, so let's look at the next problem. This is the future value of a single sum. Ben Collins plans to buy a house for $220,000. If real estate in his area is expected to grow in value by 2% each year, what is its approximate value 7 years from now? So $220,000 is, now again, I'm going to do second, third time value of money. I always want to do that before I start. So it's worth $220,000 now, and that's the present value. It's going to increase by 2% per year, so 2 is I. So treat it just like an interest rate. N is 7. And I'm going to do compute future value. So in 7 years, it'll be worth $252,710. And again, if I entered that $220,000 as a negative, I would get a positive out here. All right, let's do an annuity. So here's an example. Pete Morton is planning to go to graduate school in a program of study that will take 3 years. He wants to withdraw $8,000 each year for various school and living expenses. He earns 4% of his money. How much must he deposit at the start of his studies to be able to withdraw $8,000 a year for 3 years? So $8,000 now is the payment. So we're going to do second, clear time value of money. $8,000 is his payment. We don't need to put a future value because it's, when I clear the calculator, it makes it 0, but we will. We'll put it 0. He needs 3 years. So N is 3, and I is 4. So compute present value. So if he deposits $22,200 now, he'll have enough to withdraw $8,000 a year for school and living expenses for each of the next 3 years. Okay, and then future value of annuity. Carla Lopez deposits $23,000 a year into her retirement account. If these funds have an average earning of 8% over the 40 years until her retirement, what will be the value for retirement account? So again, we're going to go second, third time value of money. 40 is in. It doesn't matter what order I enter these things in. $23,000 is the payment. 8 is I, and I'm going to compute future value. Again, I could put 0 for present value, but I don't have to because I cleared the calculator. So future value is nearly $6 million. Of course, you know it's not million. Because she's been saving money. Okay, so that's how you use the BAII Plus.